Hi, welcome to my channel, Zen and Fit. Today I'm doing a video on the talented and beautiful Phyllis Hyman. But before I jump into the video, if you could please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button, and also share this video with anyone who may be interested in this type of content. I do discuss various topics that range from mental health, health and wellness, and lifestyle topics on this channel. So as I will be covering Phyllis Hyman today, I will be mainly focusing on the factors that possibly contributed to stressors in her life. This video is not intended to diagnose Phyllis Hyman in any capacity, but more so just reflective, exploring her life. Phyllis Hyman was born on July 6, 1949. She's the eldest of 7 children. Her father was a World War II veteran, and her mother worked as a waitress at a local nightclub. And Phyllis Hyman was pretty much raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. From what I reviewed on Phyllis Hyman's life, she really got her start in music when she received a music scholarship to attend Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh. And following that, like in 1971, she would go on to perform on a national tour with the group New Direction. And even later on, she joined All the People while working with another group called the Hondelbeat. And even in the mid-1970s, she also got a taste of acting when she was in the film Lenny. It wasn't until the late 1970s that Phyllis Hyman actually debuted her solo album, her first initial album, which was on Buddha Records, and it was named actually Phyllis Hyman. Buddha Records would later be acquired by Arista Records, and basically Phyllis Hyman would transfer to this new record label where she would release 4 albums, which included Somewhere in My Lifetime, You Know How to Love Me. The last album that Phyllis Hyman did with Arista Records was called Goddess of Love, and it was released in 1983. Eventually, Phyllis Hyman would go on to another record label known as Philadelphia International Label, where she would release another album called Living All Alone. And in between, while Phyllis Hyman was in the music industry, she was still doing other projects as well, which included acting. She was in movies such as School Days. Maybe some of you guys remember that. She was also in the movie Too Scared to Scream. That movie came out in 1985. School Days came out in 1988. And she was also doing plays as well, and she even received a Tony Award. So, she was a very talented individual, and she was multifaceted. She could do so many different things. She had a beautiful voice, and she also had acting abilities. But aside from her works and what she was doing in the industry, Phyllis Hyman had a lot of interpersonal struggles. She was married once, and that marriage ended in divorce. This divorce could have been a major stressor for Phyllis Hyman, because for a lot of people, when they go through a divorce, sometimes it's perceived as a failure when, that's not really the case, but, people get divorced for various reasons. But it could have been a major stressor in Phyllis Hyman's life. In addition to that, it's been reported that Phyllis Hyman dealt with bipolar disorder as well as depression. And that can be really debilitating. And just to give an overview, not that I'm diagnosing or saying Phyllis Hyman specifically had bipolar disorder, but just to explain the 2 types of bipolar disorders that are out there. You have bipolar 1 disorder, which includes a manic episode, which is an extreme disturbance usually that a person is experiencing, where they're having high periods of energy, and during these periods they may have a flight of ideas. They may engage in behaviors that I'll say are maladaptive or dangerous, which could be increased drug use, gambling behaviors, excessive spending habits, and there's a lot of other behaviors sometimes they engage in when a person is manic. And then you also have bipolar 2 disorder. And the major distinction with bipolar 2 is that a person will experience hypomania, and also they usually have like a major depressive episode. So usually people who are experiencing the hypomania along with depression are usually dealing with bipolar 2 disorder. So I just wanted to give an overview just of some general context when it comes to bipolar disorder. And while I was reviewing different media outlets, I seen online that supposedly Phyllis Hyman's mother actually had bipolar disorder. I don't know how true that is, but according to reports online that were out there, they were saying that Phyllis Hyman's mother had bipolar disorder. And a lot of times, bipolar disorder can be hereditary. So a person, or I should say a child, is at higher risk of developing it if, let's say, they have a parent that has that diagnosis themselves. And so you can only imagine what Phyllis Hyman was going through towards the end of her life, especially if she did have this disorder. And I'm not saying she did, but just according to reports that are out there, that would have been an extra stressor in her life. You know, you're already dealing with the pressures of the entertainment industry itself, and then going through a divorce, going through other life stressors that may be going on. Like, I know Phyllis Hyman dealt with a lot of issues when it came to her weight, because her weight would change, would fluctuate on and off throughout her life. And so that could have been another additional stressor on her as well. And then having to deal with a potential mental illness, because especially depression really distorts your viewpoint, how you view yourself. A lot of times people may see life, or I should say a glass half empty instead of half full, when you're feeling down and depressed. And so a lot of times you can become completely hopeless. And it's so unfortunate that Phyllis Hyman ended up taking her life back in 1995, because she was so talented and had so much to offer. But it just shows that when you're not receiving services and getting treatment and being open to that treatment, how things can turn, unfortunately. And it was a very sad ending. She suffered a lot emotionally, it seems like, throughout her life because of some of the things that were going on and possible mental health issues. And so it's a life lesson, even for all of us, if you have relatives or family members or just people you know that are close to you that may be dealing with any type of mental illness, and how important treatment is. So I look forward to reading any comments you have in regards to Phyllis Hyman, or just, mental health in general. And I highly recommend, if you know of anyone or yourself dealing with mental health issues, to, seek out a qualified therapist and maybe a psychiatrist to get support on that. So until next time, if you could please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button, and also share this video with anyone that may appreciate this type of content. And until next time, take care.